The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this program do not represent the groups that we are affiliated with.
Listener discretion is advised. Children and pregnant women should not be exposed to this. Seriously, our voices are known to cause cancer in the galactic sector ZZ9 plural Z alpha.
I'm Mike Toller.
And I'm Brett Beater. Welcome to Don't Panic McHenry County, Episode 2. Today we are going to do a slight update of last podcast on the Algonquin Township.
Exciting.
First part. McHenry County State's Attorney Patrick Kenneally concluded there's no evidence to prosecute Bob Miller.
Good afternoon, Algonquin Township. Andrew Gosser, Algonquin Township Highway Commissioner here.
So despite all of Andrew Gasser's insistence and his little flying monkeys, not only is the McHenry County State's Attorney, but the FBI as well, found that basically everything that he's been railing on, there's not enough evidence. There's nothing there.
Right. Or at least nothing to prosecute against.
Right. So let's see. We said that Miller unlawfully bought and sold a street sweeper. Miller did not violate any of the bidding procedures. That's what Kenneally said.
Yeah.
The sale was a lawful sale. That's what Kenneally said.
Or what was it on the sick pay, right? That was another one?
Unused sick time. He said that there's no law or authority conclusively prohibiting Miller from receiving his sick pay.
Which, yeah, I don't think I've ever worked at a job where I've had to worry about reacquiring my unpaid sick time.
Yeah. There was the iPass account thing.
Well, that was one of the things that was like fixed right away, wasn't it? It was like,
yeah, but Gasser kept railing on it, saying that Miller had a personal vehicle on the township iPass.
Yeah, but he was using his iPass for
the township vehicles. Right. Gasser had it backwards.
Which is most of Gasser's work in a nutshell.
Which ultimately, Gasser did not fix that problem because he was supposed to take possession of that account and left it for 2 months.
Yeah.
So
his little deputy fixed that for him, didn't he, or something like that one time?
Something like that.
Yeah.
There was the salt for the railway. For the Illinois Railway Museum.
Oh.
Donation was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with it.
He gave up salt! No.
To quote Kenneally, well, it's true that taxpayers in Algonquin Township may have been deprived of the benefit of a few of the thousands of yards of salt ordered each year. This did not risk or result in a shortage of salt or jeopardize road safety.
Imagine that.
There's no evidence that Miller received any kickback, campaign donation, or other favor.
Again, interesting.
The plane tickets to New Orleans, totally okay and approved by the board. So there was, the board approves it, it's good, we're good.
Or what was the other one? The Disneyland one, right? Which ended up being part of a...
Well, it's the same idea. Both the New Orleans and the Disneyland tickets and stuff like that were all associated with the same concept, is that in the past, and probably still continuing into the future, the township has a standing kind of rule, but not really a rule, a standing allowance for family members to go on these trips that are, I'm going to go out to this meeting about this thing for learning about stuff with townships. I'm going to allow my family to come with me.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing, too, is like what was actually paid by Miller and what was paid by the township at that time. Because I guarantee you that entire trip was not paid by this township. There's no way.
No. And the last one was the Ford F-250 that Miller bought.
That was like one of the last things he bought, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there's no evidence showing that it was bought with township funds.
Wait, hold on. Now it's my tinfoil hat time. What if Bob Miller took the money he earned while working at the township and used it to buy that truck? ipso facto, township bought him the truck.
You know what? Along the same lines, I've got a great idea on how we're going to rob a bank. We're going to go in, we're going to get jobs at the bank, and we're going to work there for 20 years.
That would be like somebody telling me that my union dues are paying for political action somewhere when it's not. I got paid at my job, but I'm part of a union, so I decided to donate some money to Bernie Sanders.
Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, so ultimately, everything that he brought forth and everything that his little minions down there, the Edgar County watchdogs.
Fuck those guys.
Like, I'm sorry, is there not enough to entertain you down in Edgar County? Are you not entertained down there?
My question is, with the Edgar County watchdogs, who's bankrolling that?
I might have a couple of ideas, but I need to do a little bit more digging before I bring it forth.
I have a feeling it's the same people that are also doing the Illinois Policy Institute.
There's a particular failed politician turned radio host.
Ooh, which one is it? We'll answer that question later.
But yeah, there's some interesting ties there that I'm digging into.
Yeah. Next up will be the James Kelly has already stepped down in a resignation letter addressed to Andrew Gasser, Road Commissioner, writing, I am writing to advise you that I will no longer be representing the Road District or Highway Commissioner effective immediately.
So, for reference point, James Kelly is the Algonquin Township on-staff legal counsel, and he's refusing to represent Andrew in anything from this point on forth.
Northwest Herald had contacted Kelly, but he would not elaborate.
So, I mean, when they're looking at this, and when the lawyer goes, you know what? I'm getting the hell out of here.
Now, the only problem with this, though, is that this gives way for, I can't remember his name. The lawyer he's using now for everything else.
Oh, Hanlon.
Hanlon. This just opens up the door for that jackhole to step on in.
The rumor mill is that he approached Hanlon to step in and do that, and Hanlon said no. When your own donor goes, no.
I'm gonna step back on that one.
Not gonna do it. Rumor is that he's also approached several other lawyers in the area, and they've all said no.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's turned it into so much of a circus that even if he was right on anything, there's no lawyer that's going to want their name on the papers like this constantly, day after day after day.
Well, I mean, and when you've got him playing, secret agent man, doing his own forensic investigations, despite what anybody else is, where those are supposed to be done, that's not his lane. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
When you've got an unruly client like that you can't control, they just become a liability for you.
Yeah, it's kind of like our wonderful president has had 5 or 6 different lawyers in the past year already, because they go, okay, yeah, we'll take the never mind.
Yeah, exactly. And we all know that Gasser idolizes the orange Cheeto in chief.
That's just creepy on its own. That's deserving of its own episode, really.
You need to look no farther than his initial campaign slogan, which was...
Wait, whose?
Both of them.
Oh, America First, Make America Great Again.
Drain the Swamp. They both used Drain the Swamp. I wonder if he had to pay for royalty rights to that.
You know what? I wonder if he's going to blame that on Bob Miller somehow.
Well, it's Miller's fault. But anyways, so we have no legal representation for the day-to-day activities right now for the Algonquin Township Highway Department.
So to that, I would say is don't mess up.
Yeah, don't make a mistake. Oh, you already are one. Speaking of mistakes,
we're going to continue with a update-ish, but continue with a moving story on the McHenry Township and whether or not they are violating the Open Meetings Act with their own consolidation referendum type thing that they're trying to do.
So, Bob Anderson, our favorite little obnoxious barber, here in the McHenry Township area, has formed a little cabal of people that want to consolidate. Three of the members of this group that meets are also McHenry Township board members.
And for those at home keeping score, there are 4 McHenry Township board members.
So Bob Anderson himself, Bill Cunningham, and Mike Reichstraw. That sounds good.
That.
Close enough for government work. So all 3 of them are members of this group. And if they're meeting to discuss consolidation, that's a problem.
Because that would be considered a quorum, since it's 3 of the 4 board members. And if they're doing it behind closed doors and talking about all this,
We have a violation of the Open Meetings Act, possibly.
that is very true. Now, some of you might be saying, well, what the hell is the Open Meetings Act? And luckily for you, we're going to bore you with some of that. Now, according to a Better Government Association, the Illinois nonpartisan full-service watchdog, the OMA is public body, includes all legislative, executive, administrative, or advisory bodies of the following: state, counties, townships, cities, villages, incorporated towns, school districts, and all municipal corporations. Then there are also closed meetings that are legal. Appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employee or legal counsel of the public body. Collective negotiating matters or deliberations concerning salary schedules for 1 or more classes of employees. Discipline or removal of an occupant of a public office or appointment of an individual to fill a vacant public office. That's the gist of it.
Ultimately, what constitutes a meeting under the Act is any gathering of a majority or a quorum of the members of a public body held for the purpose of discussing public business. So, if we have a 4-member board and 3 of those members are meeting to discuss consolidation, which is public business, we have a meeting.
Because 3 people is a quorum on a 4-body board.
And it doesn't matter if they're meeting as personal, citizens, as private citizens when it comes down to this, but because they are members of that board and they're discussing public business, it is instantly a meeting.
Yep.
You can't go, oh, I was just talking to them because they're my friends as well. It doesn't work like that.
Nope. And then, if you believe, this is just a little public service announcement, if you think that the public body has violated the OMA within 60 calendar days from when the alleged violation occurs, you can file a request with the Office of the Attorney General. You need that information is the public access hotline at 877-299-FOIA. My email address at publicaccess@agt.state.il.us.
So, when we're continuing to look at this, when considering whether a meeting must comply with the Open Meetings Act, a notice and agenda requirements, the meeting definition requires that the gathering be held for the purpose of discussing public business. In other words, there must be an intent to discuss public business before the gathering will be held to be a meeting under the Act. So, when you have a group, you have a subgroup of 3 members of a 4-member board who have formed their own little group to get together for the intent purpose of discussing consolidation.
Or getting people together to discuss this consolidation.
And to push that consolidation agenda.
Right.
So, I don't see what defense they have.
They don't. I mean, technically. Or legally. But they'll come up with something and 50% of people believe them.
Of course.
Because nobody wants to, oh, he told me it was okay, so well, fuck it. Now, my other problem with this is, if you're going to be discussing this kind of stuff, why not, and if you're that gung-ho about getting this done, have public forums on it. Have public meetings about this. Why do all the backdoor shit and then think that somebody's not going to say something about it?
Why don't they want public meetings? Because there isn't as much public support as they pretend there to be on this subject.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to let people think about for a second. But then Mr. Toller's got to go in there and mess it all up by giving the answer.
Well, it's because this is kind of like a podcast. We're supposed to talk.
Oh.
They can't. They can hear us. We can't hear them.
Yes. But I'm sure we'll hear about it after this.
So, ultimately, I'll put that information in there if you guys, anybody who lives in McHenry Township wants to reach out and point this out as a possible violation and have it investigated. The more people that speak up, the more likely it is to be heard.
That is correct.
The squeaky wheel
Gets the grease.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, or the oil, or...
I was going to say the squeaky wheel gets replaced, but...
Oh, slow down there. I'm a mechanic. I don't just replace it because it squeaks. Now, all of our links that we've been using for our discussions will be posted on the podcast page in the description area. Look it up yourself. Make up your own minds.
Yeah, don't just listen to us. We're just two guys who happen to buy microphones and put this together.
And besides, if Alex Jones can be annoying, so can we.
Didn't you know the McHenry County Township is spraying chemtrails to turn the frogs gay?
Oh my God! Not the gay frogs.
The gay frogs.
Oh.
Turning our children into FEMA death camp workers or something. Lizard people.
Thanks, Obama.
Didn't you know that Hillary Clinton smells like sulfur because she's a devil and really is one of the lizard people and the one world government?
Raised by the hellfire. That's why she smells like sulfur.
I'm a human. I eat meat. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. It's hilarious. Alex Jones just hauls off on this thing about, like, I'm a human, I eat meat, I have a soul.
If you ever want to just laugh, there's a good YouTube video on him that puts him to different types of music. It's good stuff.
I'm not sure if he was trying to convince his listeners or himself, but...
So, a little bit back on subject here. The Citizens of Consolidation is the name of the group that is run by Mr. Bob Anderson. He is owning or selling t-shirts for his... I don't even know what to call it. I guess you could call it a group. Sure, we'll call it a group. Now...
Cabal. I like the word cabal.
Okay, we'll use cabal. Now, he says that all the money generated from the shirt sales will go back to the campaign.
What campaign?
Which campaign? Exactly.
What campaign? Where campaign?
His campaign? Or the consolidation campaign? Which, by the way, I want to bring up, in 1994... I think he was the big pusher on this that went to the ballot and got rejected 3-1.
He's always been a big pusher on this. This has been his dead horse.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that was like his first big time in the limelight was in 94.
I think so, yeah. 94 sounds right.
To the ballot.
But yeah, he is chasing his white whale. He is the Captain Ahab. This has been like his big thing has been pushing this. So much so that he's made claims that there's shadowy people out to get him because of this pushing this topic. He said that
the nails in his driveway.
Nails and pieces of metal in his driveway to pop his tires. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think it had been found out that he found those slightly after somebody was doing some work on their roof or something near.
I don't know.
It was something silly.
Yeah. But she was like, I remember the article coming out in the Northwest Herald about it. And then I remember not hearing another thing about it because it was like, well, what happened with that?
It was the Masons and the Gray Aliens.
Oh, man. Maybe it was the gay alien frogs. McHenry City Council that has moved a step forward to plans to ask their voters for more money so they can do $30 million improvements to their city's recreation center. I don't know how I feel about this one. I mean, I don't live in the city of McHenry, so I honestly don't give a shit if it goes through or not. But I live in Richmond. You know what? And if they came up and said, hey, we want to build a rec center, I'd be like, okay, how much is that going to cost me? We could be like, it's going to cost you $100 a year. Yeah, okay, I'm in. Now, according to this, if you are owning a home approximately $168,000 in McHenry, which honestly seems like on the low end. Yeah. You can expect to see your property taxes raise approximately $180 annually, which, again, in the long scheme of things, isn't that much. But honestly, if you're having a hard enough time as it is, that's not going to be good.
I mean, but if like $180 a year makes or breaks you, You got compounding things with different all sorts of stuff like that. Like I'm sure the schools are going to increase their tax levy, and that's going to be another let's say another 180 again on top. Things compound like that.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying like if you're looking at like how things are going nowadays anyway. For some people, like one sickness away from just complete ruin. I mean that might be a little bit much. I mean if you got a certain budget and you just keep sticking to that budget, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're gonna add $180 to that budget. It's gonna be kind of shitty. But like I said, to me, $180 isn't gonna kill me.
The big problem where I get into the things like this is they're always talking about these rec centers and everything are good for the children. We need it for the children. I feel like children are too often used for props as in a lot of different things.
They are.
It's great. It's nice for the children. It's great that the kids will have a place to learn to swim and things like that. But do we have to drag them out all the time and go, just think of the children? Won't somebody please think of the children?
Here was my rec center growing up, the Nipperson Creek.
Yeah.
Woods. I don't know if it was on public or private property. We didn't give a shit. We were kids.
My rec center growing up was there was a creek behind the school that I went to. The name of the creek was actually Rat Creek.
Nice.
Yeah, we played down in there. It was wood. It was wooded area, and there was the water. At one point, there was a bridge across the creek that had washed off, and then somebody had built a new bridge, but they left the old bridge, so we turned it into a raft. And rafted down the creek. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand the need for these like sanitary environments.
No.
That we just keep having to shove these children into.
Yeah, I mean, and when I went to swimming lessons, or when I shouldn't say swimming lessons, it was more like diving and shit like that. But that was all at the Y. I mean, it's down the road. The same shit that the rec area is trying to do. It's like what.
I think the closest Y to McHenry is the one that's over in Cary or Crystal Lake there.
Three Oaks?
Yeah.
No, well, it might be. The one we went to was the one in Volo, Camp Duncan. I think that one's still there, right off at 12.
And here's the other part that kind of gets it to me, is we're talking about, it's good for families and their children and their everything else. What about families that don't have kids?
Right.
Everything seems like, you look at the community calendar, and you look at the events that are going on.
What can I take my kids to?
Yeah, everything's very children and families with children related. What about young adults who are just starting out, want to meet people that live in the area, don't have kids?
Tinder.
No, like, let's say a young married couple.
Okay.
And they live in the area, they want to meet people that are in the area, get to know their neighbors, get to know their friends. What do they have?
Not much, really. Go to the bar.
But that's not really...
No, I know.
That's not the answer.
No, but maybe if they had something set up like where they did purposefully go after something like that within this rec center, like one night a week or something, they use it for painting with wine or whatever they do nowadays. I don't even know.
Maybe like a maker center. Wouldn't that be a much better idea? Mm-hmm. So those are super popular in urban areas where you can set up, they basically, it's a community garage, if you will.
Yeah.
You've got different machines like 3D printers, you've got electronics, stations and things like that. They've got, bandsaws and jigsaws and things for prototyping ideas and making things. Something like that would be phenomenal for both the adults and the children.
Oh, yeah. It would both learning.
Right. You can you grab yourself a little project board like an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi, and you can go to classes. You can learn how to work on this technology.
What's the other one I saw in the fixer shops, they call them?
Mm-hmm.
You bring in your broken shit, and you go in there and fix it.
Yeah.
Kids, adults, doesn't matter. Or the other one, too, the opposite end, the destruction room ones.
But that's a big problem you have nowadays. Is that there's a lot of people that use technology.
Yeah.
They always got their phone. They're always on their Facebook. They're always doing that. But they don't really understand the technology.
No, it's like in the automotive industry. You get people coming in all the time. my car is doing this and I read online that it's this, and you just shake your head and you go, no, that's got nothing to do with it. Stop trying to fix your own shit. Just tell me what's wrong with it. Don't lie to me. Just tell me what's wrong with it. I'll fix it.
Same thing in the IT world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, it's not doing it now. Yeah, because you rebooted like I told you to.
Mm-hmm.
Between yesterday and today, when I got over it, this computer restarted. Problem solved.
Yeah. Every day. You have at least 1 or 2, 3, 4, sometimes up to 10 people like that.
But yeah, I mean, I think if they were going to do something, a makerspace or something like that would be much better suited. We're always talking about getting people into STEM careers.
Yeah.
How is a recreation center going to get you into a STEM career?
You know what? It's not even STEM careers even at this point. It's anything. I mean, the job market for skilled labor is going... the market's going up, but the people coming in is dropping considerably because we're all pushed on this notion that everybody needs a college degree.
Oh yeah, when I was in high school, they were cutting all the shop classes. Auto shop. We had auto shop. We had welding. We had wood shop. We had plastics. We had CAD and drafting. We had all these great shops, and then they start cutting them. And I went to the principal and I asked her, "Why are you cutting these?" She says, "There's no future. There's no future in these jobs."
Yeah. When I went to high school, they had, these are classes I took, small engine repair, wood shop, that was it. Or I think they might have had a drafting class too, but I didn't take that one. But they had, before I got there, they had their own little auto shop at one point in time. They had their own welding, metals class, and it was just whittled down to those 3. And then now they don't even have any of that.
I went to Jacobs. When I went, there was auto 1, 2, and 3. There was wood 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
There was welding 1, 2, and 3. There was plastics 1 and 2. And then there was drafting, and then you had to take drafting to get into the CAD 1 and 2 classes. So if you didn't learn how to do it by hand, you couldn't
do it by computer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I left, they had gotten rid of plastics entirely. They had wood shop down to 1. They had welding down to 1. And they had auto down to 1. And had completely removed drafting and went to CAD only.
When I became a junior, the only option after that was to take the Voc bus, which was the vocational center in Lake County at the CLC campus. They had everything there. Nursing, hairdressing, auto body, auto shop. It was literally like everything. It was amazing. Greatest place at the time when I was like a kid going, holy shit, this is what college is going to be like? Oh my God. And then I found out, no, college is going to be sitting in a classroom staring at a book all day, not really learning anything unless you really wanted to learn it.
Right. And college isn't for everybody.
No.
There is no reason that everyone needs to go to college.
Nope.
There are plenty of good, solid jobs, good careers out there.
Yep.
And you make a living out of without college.
Hmm.
And even those that say they require college, there's a lot of them that don't.
That is very correct.
Experience counts for so much in a lot of these jobs. But yeah, because you said small engines, so our auto shop, the first one was small engines, lawnmower. The whole class, because I took auto 1 and I took auto 2. The auto 1, the whole thing was tear apart a lawnmower engine and rebuild it. That was the whole class.
Yeah, that's what our small engine class was. One semester, take the engine apart, put it back together, and make sure it runs.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was great, too. You get hands-on, you learn all the parts as you're going through, you see how everything fits together, how it all works together. You learn about different engine types, because even though you're only working on a single-cylinder, 4-stroke lawnmower engine, you still learn about two-stroke rotary engines, everything else like that. Auto 2, you started to work on things like, there was an actual physical car there, and the auto shop teacher would break something.
Yeah.
And the objective was to, for the year to fix it. Whatever he broke, you were going to fix.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of, when our vocational was set up, 4 semesters, each semester there was one for engines, and then there was one for brakes and suspension, and then there was another one for, at the time they called it electrical tune-up, but it was just pretty much like electronics, which at the time wasn't a whole lot compared to now, but Then the fourth semester was what they considered a free-for-all, I guess you would say. You got to pick one of the 3 teachers that taught the classes, and then you stuck with them that semester, and they gave you a specific task that you had to finish before that semester ended. The last one I took was with the brakes and suspension teacher, and he made us rebuild his classic car. Which was fine, because you're still working on a car, you're still learning how to do the shit, so...
Yeah, I mean, we had a great shop teachers. One of them used to be a BMW dealership mechanic.
Yeah.
You know, and great stories from him in the field of, hey, this guy brought in this car and the engine was totally seized up. And turns out that, we go to drain the engine, we open up the plug and it starts pouring oil and we're like, okay. We come back the next day, it's still draining. Turns out every time the check oil light came on, he just poured in another quart. But then, we had welding. Welding 1 was oxyacetylene. Because that's where you start, because your mistakes are obvious. I think welding 2 was arc welding, and welding 3 was MIG and TIG.
Yeah.
That's pretty much everything you need to know.
Yeah, if I could hold a steady hand, I would much rather be in the welding end of it right now. But anyway, to call back to how we started on this trip.
What a long, strange trip it's been. There's that high school quote.
Yeah.
But a makerspace, because you don't have those in these schools anymore, would be outstandingly helpful to the community.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, even if they just once a month had one room in there that they did something like that, and if they did it once a week and they changed it, but kept it like a monthly schedule type of thing.
Well, here's the problem with that concept is the makerspace has a lot of equipment.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially like your 3D printers and your electronics workbenches and stuff like that. If they were to incorporate this into the recreational center, and here's our makerspace in there, okay, here we go.
And then your taxes give you the use of the equipment, but you still got to pay for materials.
Right.
So at that point, okay, perfect.
Well, and the other thing is, you go there and that's all. It's going to naturally draw people that have that knowledge, as well as people that want to gain that knowledge. Because I would go there to use the equipment.
Yes, I would. And even not being a resident, I would pay my whatever $5-10 fee to get in the door thing.
Right. And I would go there to use the equipment, and while I'm there, I can learn from people that know more than me, and I can teach people that know less than me.
Yes. Everybody wins. Mm-hmm. You learn something, you teach something, you get out of there.
Exactly.
And you walk out with a nice little 3D model of a Death Star.
Or, your Raspberry Pi is now running a RetroPie, and you've got, the ability to go back and play Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
And you've worked it into a small handheld-sized little console that's like a Nintendo DS. I've seen tons of those where somebody's built those. It's great.
Oh, with the Pi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing is... When I first saw that thing come out, I was like, ooh, I wonder where this is going to go. And then I'm like, oh my God, look at all this. It's awesome.
I have a RetroPie. I have a Raspberry Pi upstairs that I had running as a RetroPie, and now I've repurposed it into a smart calendar and clock.
Nice.
Things like that. You could learn. They could learn.
Yeah, my problem with learning anything anymore is that I'm like, oh, this is so cool, and then all of a sudden 6 months later I'll be like, oh shit, I have to work.
But back on track again. I don't have a problem with that. The space that, being a rec center, I hope they use it for more.
Yeah, I can go with that one. But even, like I said, and then where is this going to stop? That's the other question I got. So you want to add a pool. Okay, congratulations. And they're trying to say that, no, this is where the stupidest part of the whole article comes in. They went to Woodstock and noticed that there was a lot of people from McHenry in Woodstock because they had a pool. I'm going to call it bullshit because there's some people there using it because it's a pool. Yes.
How do they know that they're from McHenry?
I don't know. That was the other thing. You're just being like a creep with a microphone. Excuse me, sir. Are you from McHenry City limits?
I guess McHenry does have a vehicle sticker, so I guess if they were walking around looking in the parking lot,
yeah, they can just do that.
McHenry vehicle stickers.
But how do they know that they just don't have family members that live in Woodstock and they're like, hey, let's go to the pool? And they're like, okay.
No.
They think it's like a weekly occurrence.
Crystal Lake has that Three Oaks Recreational Center,
Yeah.
and that's
Which, that one kind of weirds me out because that's like literally right next to the YMCA doing the same thing.
YMCA isn't a big man-made lake, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't exactly get on your speedboat and ski at the YMCA.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that's what they got there too now. I forgot they put that boat. I honestly haven't been there since the day they opened it, literally.
Yeah, there's a boat launch, but there's restrictions.
Yeah, the size of the motor and all that stuff.
Not only size of the motor, but you can't hop because they don't want to cross-contaminate information. Yep.
So you pick one and you're stuck with it for that year or something?
Kind of, because the water in there is like pure. Like, if you've ever seen pictures above it, you can see straight to the bottom.
Wonder how long that's gonna last.
That's kind of why they have that cross-contamination restriction there.
I'm gonna have to look into that one. I work literally just a couple miles down the road from there too.
The point of bringing that up is that a lot of towns in this area have things like that.
They do.
They have their recreational areas, their recplex.
And some of them are just miniature parks or little league baseball fields, and like Spring Grove and Richmond. All my life, that's all they ever have. Like these little parks and a baseball field for the little league, and that was it.
I was just Linda and I, my wife, were out walking around Wonder Lake the other day because it was very nice out, and it was we figured we'd go for a walk, see what was around. This area, the Wonder Lake itself, the lake is a private lake. It's privately owned by all the members of the Master Property Owner Association. So all the beaches on the lake are private beaches.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as far as like anything else public in the area, granted our walk was a small one, a short one. We basically walked down to the shore of, as far as we could get to the shore of the lake, and walked up in a big circle back around. There wasn't much, and all the stores are like half the stores are shuttered.
Yeah.
There's not much here. And, if they were to put in something like a recreational facility like that, that would give people a reason to be out here. Would revitalize the area, too.
Possibly, but again, that's a specific subset of people that doesn't have a rec center.
Right.
I mean, if I'm moving somewhere, I personally don't give a shit because I won't be using it. So that's not even on my list. Does it have 4 walls and a roof? Okay, check. That's my first thing, Second thing.
What do the taxes look like?
Yeah. How bad are they?
That was part of the reason why we moved where we did out here, is that this is unincorporated and taxes are a little lower and yada, yada, yada. I like the idea of the recplex or recreation center or whatever.
Yeah.
I hope it isn't just another pool and track. Here you go.
So, moving from recreation to smoking.
We'll move from the healthy to the unhealthy.
Or maybe, how should we put this? The age gate of smoking in Illinois will be brought to 21.
I have major problems with this. And, the moving of the age of buying long guns, is a very similar thing to me. They want to move that to 21 as well. Either you're an adult at 18 or you're not.
Mm-hmm. What's next?
Yeah.
Contracts aren't going to be viable until you're 21?
We want to keep trying to move these individual pieces and parts further and further from in your age to 21. Then why don't we just do it all?
Man.
Either you're an adult at 18 or you're an adult at 21. Why am I still able? Why are people still able to sign legal contracts and make life decisions like join the military?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not developed or intelligent or smart enough yet to decide if they want to smoke, or decide if they want to drink, or decide if they want to buy a firearm, or what. You can sign up to go in the military at 18 to go shoot a gun, but you can't.
Yeah, you can't drink and celebrate with.
Can't buy one, can't drink and celebrate.
You can't celebrate surviving a war with a cigarette and beer, though. And I think of it this way. I'm one of the people that it's more like a Darwinish kind of person that comes to it. Let him eat the red berry. See what it does. I don't care.
I'm just going to watch and see if you live through that red berry or not.
Exactly. And then just like how I'm raising my kid. Well, I'm not raising my kid to eat the red berry, but I'm just standing back going, he's at the age now where he wants, he thinks he knows better. So I'm like, okay, go ahead. I'm going to watch him. If he takes a knife and starts heading for the outlet, that's when I'll kick him in the head and be like, yo, dude, But what, I don't get it. The drinking, the smoking, yes, drinking impairs your ability, whatever. Okay, I get that. Smoking causes cancer. Okay, great. I've been smoking since I was like 15. Sorry, Mom, Dad. But I don't get it. And it's just the laws that they want to keep passing. Nothing for any kind of, I believe it was any kind of nicotine.
Right, they also include vaping into it.
Yeah, they put nicotine in tobacco and vape accessories, I think is how they worded it. I can't remember the exact wording of it. But.
Right. Here's where things get really weird, is that they're starting to classify things that are vape-related as tobacco products. This includes things like cotton, because you use cotton wicking.
Make a coil.
No, you use cotton for the wicking.
Yeah.
Materials.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's like you're going to regulate all the wire, all metal wire that can be used as resistance wire.
It's like if they start doing this with the guns, they're going to regulate the copper. Then
Right.
what? Nobody's going to have electricity in their houses no more.
The batteries. They've decided that the batteries, the 18650s, which are rechargeable lithium-ion.
Which I've used in RC cars. I've used in a whole bunch of stuff.
The exact same 18650s I use in my mod are built into the battery packs of the Tesla.
There you go. Your Tesla is now illegal unless you're over the age of 21 in the state of Illinois.
It's a tobacco item.
Yeah, so anybody that wants to follow at home, we're talking about the Bill SB 2332, which was passed by both the House and the Senate in Illinois, and is now awaiting signature by our wonderful governor, Mr. Rauner. Now, the official title of this, which has changed like 8 times apparently by the list of referendums and everything else attached to this thing. So I'm not even going to try finding it right now, what it is called right now. But pretty much it's just saying that any tobacco-related stuff will be raised to 21. Not 18, 21. And it also has in there definitions for electronic cigarettes, repeals the Smokeless Tobacco Limitation Act, amends various other acts to make conforming changes, which is just legalese for, we're just going to make sure this all makes sense.
Yeah. That it is a huge sweeping issue, because it doesn't just raise the age of of smoking to 21. It also does several instances of adjusting different laws and.
Oh yeah, because then you're also going to start talking in the tax code and everything else at this point.
Right.
Because you got tobacco tax, that's separate from any other taxes that they got. It would just be like all of a sudden them calling water fuel. They're going to have to add a tax to that now because, water's now fuel. So we'll move on from that, and we will start discussing some of the events going on around this area. First thing I want to bring up is from the TLS Veterans of and the Northern Illinois Food Bank partner. Every third Thursday of the month, they take food and deliver to them for military veterans and their families that are in need. Sign up is at 3 p.m. at 5330 West Elm Street, McHenry, Illinois. Phone number 815-679-6667. The truck will arrive at the TLS Veterans place at 4 p.m. and food will be dispersed after that.
I'm going to interject here really quick, not necessarily goings-on in the area, but don't forget that we are looking for local bands to highlight in our intro and outro music.
Maybe even in the middle of our pieces. We don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Because if we get 85 people to sign up, guess what? We're going to find places for 85 people to go.
So if you're a local band and you're listening and you want to be used as intro and outro music or whatever, let us know. Hit us up. The contact information will be under the video.
Or if you know somebody that's in a band. Or you know what? Somebody that likes a band, that knows a band. Just...
And they tell 2 friends, and they tell 2 friends,
Exactly.
and so on, and so on.
And we're going to start with local bands first. If we get some people from the Lake County region or Kenosha County,
They're local.
We'll put you in.
They're local.
But if we have 15 people from McHenry County, and then the people from the outlying areas, and then those people will be put on the side. Here, what else we got going on? We got, meeting roundup time.
Dun, 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 my meeting. So we need music because that was not pretty.
No, it was pretty shitty. So, June 11th, City of Marengo meeting at 7 p.m. All these next meetings will be occurring on June 12th. Fox Lake, 6:30 p.m. Seneca Township, 6:30 p.m. Prairie Grove, 7 p.m. Lakewood, 7 p.m. McComb Lake, 7 p.m. Riley, 7 p.m. Dunham Township, 7 p.m. Burton Township, 7 p.m. Dorr Township, 7 p.m. He's kind of a 7 p.m.
I noticed
start
a
time.
theme.
Harvard, 7 p.m. Ringwood, 7:30. Now, June 13th, you have Chemung, which starts at 6:01.
Why?
So you can.
I want an answer from somebody. I want an answer from somebody in Chemung.
So it starts at 6:01. So by the time that's done, you can get in your car and then head to the Algonquin Township meeting, which is also happening that same night at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Algonquin Township. Come watch the circus.
The
Seriously.
fireworks.
It is like a beautiful double rare rainbow with a unicorn. You ought to seriously be there because it is going to be hilarious because this is the first meeting after the McHenry County State's Attorney cleared Bob Miller and has made a fool of Andrew Gasser in the process. So this should be hilarious.
As it should. But also at the same time, we have to warn you that the Heartland Township meeting is also going on, the Coral Township meeting, Richmond Township meeting. And then on the 14th, you have the McHenry County Cow meeting, which stands for Committee of the Whole. That happens at 9 a.m.
Yeah, in the middle of the day when everybody else is working.
And also on the 14th, continuing, we have Nunda Township in the 7 p.m., Huntley Village at 7 p.m., Alden Township at 7 p.m., McHenry Township at 7 p.m.
So you can talk to them about
Bob Anderson.
Bob Anderson. There we go. So that's the problem. There's too many Bobs.
Yeah.
Didn't you have a meeting with the Bobs?
No, Bob's.
But talk to them about Bob Anderson's little group there breaking the Open Meetings Act.
And then continuing on for the 14th as well, you have Lilith, which for some of you is Lake in the Hills, 7:30.
I always thought it was pronounced Lith.
Yeah, Lilith. Did I say Lilith?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
It's because of the Lilith tour. Fuck.
Lilith Fair?
Yeah, Lilith Fair. That's what I meant.
See, like,
Tour. God,
whenever
see?
somebody says Lilith, I always think of Frasier.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Because,
Yep, you're right.
yeah.
No,
Frasier's
see,
wife.
me, I think of the fair. Oakwood Hills continuing on the 14th at 7:30. Island Lake at 7:30. June 18th, Hebron, City of McHenry, Holiday Hills, Marengo Township, Hebron Township, Greenwood Township, Grafton Township are all at 7 o'clock, except for Grafton, that's at 7:30. 4th of July for Wonder Lake this year, by the way, is 6:30.
PM?
No, on 6:30. Their 4th of July parade is on 6:30. The start of the parade is actually at 1:30. So anyway, and then the 4th of July one happens in Spring Grove, and then there's another one in Crystal Lake, which happens on 7/7 at 1 p.m. Fiesta Days in McHenry is July 22nd this year. Founders Days in Algonquin is on the 28th of July. Sunset Festival in Lake in the Hills is 9/1. Sophenspiel, Ace Numero Uno 1. Yes.
So I have a question.
Hmm.
Why is McHenry the Fiesta Days?
I don't know, because that's what they called it.
But, like, McHenry is not exactly a Hispanic
Dare you go
name.
into the Hispanic heritage of McHenry? No, I don't know how that all came about because I haven't lived in McHenry. I've gone to the Fiesta Days a few times, but I have never cared to find out why they called it Fiesta Days.
We'll be doing a deep dive into this and uncovering all the secrets of Fiesta Days.
But I got to finish off this one on Sophenspiel. Jensen Johnsburg, the best one ever, because it happens every year. September 9th this year.
Well, all of them happen every year.
Stop it. No, I said this is the best one that happens every year.
You said it's the best one because it happens every year.
Did I? Yes. We're going to have to rewind the tape. I have no idea if I just said that or not, because we're live still on the recorded shit. Oh, Settler Days, Marengo, in October 7th. So, if there's anybody else that has any other local little ditties that are going on, email us and let us know, because honestly, I'm not looking anymore up.
No, seriously, if you want your event mentioned at the end of the podcast, just like with the bands. If you got an event that's going on, something that's happening in the area, and you want it mentioned at the end of the podcast, hit us up.
Or if you want to bitch, tell us we're doing our jobs wrong, and that we can reply to you and say we don't care.
If you want to call us the new glorious leaders, then we'll take any comments, criticisms, praise, or hate.
Yes, the hate. We'll take it all. We don't care.
Bring the hate.
What's the word we're looking for here?
We're assholes?
There you go.
But yeah, I think that pretty much about wraps it up, doesn't it? Do we have anything else we wanted to mention?
No, I'm pretty good on that. On my events and everything that you blindsided me with last episode, so I figured I'd make sure I bucked up this time.
And Buck, he did.
Yes, and I just gave you a bunch of numbers and places that nobody cares about. But you should.
I think that's just about it. And we'll see you guys again, or you'll hear us again on the next podcast, which should be in 2 weeks.
Sure, sounds about right.
Alright, flying off the cuff here. Good night, McHenry County. Evening, day. I guess there isn't a night, is there?
It's a podcast again.
And so you can listen whenever you want. Good, whatever it is right now for you. Don't do anything I would do.